Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. Just enjoying the scenery here. This is one of those things that you can't do in a big truck. Do a little sightseeing. Got some people over here flying kites. Had a beautiful sailboat heading out there just a minute ago. Um, this is Lake. I think it's Lake Michigan. I should check that, but I'm in Wisconsin here, and I'm just a few miles from a receiver where I'm gonna drop off one of these partials, but Ah, it's nice to be able to do this, go down to these little places in the cargo van and relax a little bit, because you don't get to relax very often when you're driving. I mean, it's nice to see the scenery along the highways and see different towns and stuff, but the cargo van is a little bit nicer when you get to these small towns. You know, lots of times in that big truck, you park at the truck stop and that's all you see and you can't get around too much. You could try to bobtail somewhere, but you know how it is. People are going to try to run you off. They don't like they like for you to bring them the stuff that they order, but they don't like for you to park. Um, so I got out there a minute ago and walked down the beach. I'll show you some of that in a minute. But last week it started out kind of rough. The name of this game, cargo van, small box truck, whatever you want to call it, is partials, 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 and try to get as many as you can. And if you've been doing this very long, getting one and coming off without any hitches is a job, is a chore. But getting several, it's just a trick, and you got to have patience, which I don't have too much patience. But partials, partials, partials. So last week on Friday, I saw there were quite a few loads going to Los Angeles or uh, California area, and I know from doing my research and searching the load boards that coming out of LA, it seems like there's quite a few loads. There's only one direction. Well, you're heading north or east, and there's quite a few loads coming out of there. You can get quite a few partials and make a good chunk of change coming out of there. So I was kind of wanting to head that way, and so I called on the first load and booked it, which it was only paying about 70 cents a mile. But the guy assured me, yes, my friend, is small pallet. And so he told me it was two small pallets that could be stacked. No trouble, my friend, no trouble. So Sunday rolls around. I still hadn't booked the second load, and I was getting kind of worried. And this agent emails me saying, hey, they're adding a second pallet to that load. So I emailed him right back and said, if they're adding a second pallet, or third pallet, you can cancel the load because on my little truck, space and weight is at a premium. And again, he called me up. Oh, my friend, don't cancel. I assure you, my friend, this is three small pallets. You stack them, no problem, my friend. Okay, so as you can imagine, I get over there, and it didn't go to plan. Um, and it was, kind of a blessing, and at the same time, I pulled up, and they brought out the first pallet, which was about 7.5 feet tall. And I told the guy that was on the forklift, I said, don't even set it down, take it back inside. Obviously, it's not going to fit on my cargo van because my clearance on the door back there is only 6 feet. So the guy went ahead and set it down, and I immediately called the agents, telling him what was going on. And he started just all kinds of excuses. And by this time, they're bringing out the second pallet, which was the same size as the first one. And I said, listen, he immediately said, oh, I cannot give you a truck order not used if you cancel the load. I said, buddy, I'm not canceling the load. It won't fit on my damn truck. And, oh, I can't give you a truck order not used. I can't do it. And so, we argued there for a few minutes back and forth. And I said, man, I don't know what to tell you. And by this time, they brought the third pallet out, which was about half the size of the other two. But, it went from taking up a 4x4 spot in my truck to now taking up almost half of the cargo space. And so I hung up the phone with this guy and I walked back there and I said, man, I told you I can't take this. Well, once we bring the first pallet out, you have to take it. I laughed at the guys. I don't have to take anything. And he tried to hand me his clipboard. He goes, I need you to sign this. And I said, good luck with that. And I got in my truck and backed up and left. But, I don't like doing that to the guy, but, it wouldn't have fit in my truck anyway. So what I suspected was, and what I saw a person in a car doing that pulled up, they went out and set down a pallet, and she just broke the whole pallet down and stuck it in her car. So I assumed this guy had been doing this before, and these drivers had just been making it work by breaking it down. But yeah, I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to fill up my whole truck for 70 cents a mile. So pull up to the front of the lot, found another load that was actually going to New York, near Buffalo, and it was paying over $1 a mile to begin with for one pallet. And I knew I was pretty confident I could find something else going to the Northeast. So I jumped on it. It was 15 miles away and got that one loaded. Went as promised. Called on the second one. It was going 100 miles from the first one, and went over there and actually picked it up. And before I left the lot, they called me and said, don't go anywhere. Hour later, they said, you got to return that one. Something's wrong with the customer. So got a $200 truck order not used for that. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start heading that way. And this is kind of the way it's been working out. If I don't find two partials right together, I like to book the first load where it will make me a nice little profit. And that way I'm not too awful worried about the partials that go with it. Kind of like getting the main course and then, finding the dessert. But so I have my main course, and I said, you know what, no more screwing around here. I'm going to go head that direction. And so what I start doing then is I start trolling for loads. I'll find a town that's a couple hundred miles in front of me, and I'll start looking for loads going through that town. And I got almost halfway to New York, and I found a load that was paying more than the partial that got canceled to begin with, and worked out just perfect. I found it. I stopped right on the way and didn't have to go out of route any at all. And it just worked out perfect. And at that point, I said, you know what? My strategy worked, and I didn't want to arrive on a Friday and be unloading on a Friday and trying to find a partial get me somewhere else. I really wanted to get there on Thursday, so I didn't look for any more partials. And I did. I got there Thursday morning, delivered both partials, and then got myself in a position to pick up the two partials that I have now. So for last week, my numbers, and keep in mind that it cost me very little overhead to run this truck. And like I said, what I'm doing now is hard to do in a big truck. So it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. But let me show you one of the pallets I picked up this morning, and then we'll go for a walk along the beach, and then I'll tell you what I made last week. All right, so I left Texas middle of the day um, on Monday, and I got both partials unloaded on Thursday. Now I could have included one of the partials that I have now on the last week, but let's just go with what I did last week. Two partials and a truck order not used. Just a little over 1,600 miles, and the first load paid 1,900. The truck order was not used was for 200, and then the second partial paid 1,200, and so $3,300 total. And I spent less than $500 on fuel. When I left Texas, gas was just over $3 a mile. Oh man, this guy's going fishing. He's got his bite rigged up. I like it. What was I saying? Oh, gas was just barely over $3 a gallon, and just kind of along the way, it incrementally went up. And in New York, it's over $1 more than it is in Texas, and all these states up here. Just that makes no sense to me. But so I actually spent a little over $400. It was well under 500, and that was my only expenses other than food. Um, I will probably have to get an oil change here in the next couple of weeks, but that's less than $50. So yeah, it was a good profitable week. The except for tolls, I'll have to. I forgot all about that. I spent about $100 in tolls also. So my profit for last week on just two partials was right at $2,800, something like that, if I did the math right. Yeah, and people are starting to show up with their kites out here. Might have to go get some footage of that too. So yeah, nice little profitable week. It makes it very nice when in the big truck, it's costing me a lot of money to move that truck, and in the long run, it's also costing me a lot of money for maintenance on the big truck. That's one of the things a lot of people don't think about. And then I didn't add into my other videos because you just can't predict, breakdowns and most of the maintenance on trucks. You don't know when a tire's going to blow or when the air conditioner is going to go out, just like on this truck. But the cost for this little truck is a whole lot less than anything on the big truck. So yeah, nice little profitable week. And for the week coming up, I've got two partials on here, and I'll cover that next week. I got lucky with these two, I think, and we'll go over that next week sometime. But I'll show you one of the little partials I picked up that paid over $1 a mile. Pretty cool.